I'm about to get crazy vulnerable. Let's get deep. Let's get deep today. Welcome to the Results Kill Excuses show. I'm your host, Greg. Been getting on here talking about life. Whose life? My life, your life, and life in general. We even talk about death. Today, we're going to talk about rejection is protection. Do you believe that? What does that mean to you? Comment down below. When the last time that you felt rejected, did you look to like a higher source and be like, thank you. Thank you so much for protecting me? And usually this is in the context, it comes in a lot of different ways. I think most society feels the rejection from dating, relationships, but it can be in like, not getting the job, right? Putting in the application, not getting the job. I think those would probably be the two big ones that come up to my mind. If you can think of some other forms of rejection that pop up, um, and why does rejection hurt so much? I mean, I'm hurting today. I got rejected today, and it's so funny. It's not funny. It's painful. It's so painful. Rejection is painful. It's a painful thing. And I got rejected, and I have to take a 100% responsibility for this rejection because of that's the way to do it. That's doing life on life's terms. That's extreme ownership. Like can always I've learned how to take responsibility for my mistakes. Like I'm done making excuses and pointing the finger. Clearly, in terms of relationships, they always say it's not 50-50. It's 100% me and 100% you. That's what's going to make it work. And yet I um I was hoping that we could make it work. And again, people can fall in and fall out of love. That's the wild thing about this day and age. And it's so important, which is the rejection is protection piece, is that I'm someone that, man, I have major rejection wounds from childhood. Having a father, basically being an abusive father, and then not really understanding the dynamics, but just one minute I did have like a dad in my picture, and then the next minute I don't. And I know that me and my mother had been through all this crazy, terrifying violence, life or death shit. And yet, in the rational mind of a child, you don't understand any of that. So you just feel like, man, I'm the only little boy that doesn't have a daddy. So that's a lot of abandonment. That's rejection. That's not being good enough for someone to show up for me ever. Like hardly ever. Hardly ever have I had the person I would call my dad show up for me in my life. Hardly ever, man. Like really never. Tiny little windows, but never anything. And that's super challenging. And then when I was about 10 years old, my mom had gotten pregnant. And so the guy she was with, he was around during some my early impressionable years. He was there. He definitely acted in a role of like a father figure. So I did have that. However, when my mom got pregnant, started this new family, I was no longer the center of attention. I was no longer the most important thing. And so I wrote a story to myself that I had been abandoned. I don't think that was anybody's intention. And I've had really heartfelt conversations with my mom, and I just don't feel that was her intention. I know it's not. Of course it wasn't. But it's, when you have a little baby coming to the world and you have a kid that's 10, it's sort of like he can take care of himself and actually take care of the baby. That was sort of the live-in situation there. And So I know that that's where this stems from. I know that's where my codependency issues stem from. And yet here I am today feeling the pain of rejection. And the thing is someone like me, I am resolute in doing life on life's terms. So when I start feeling this uncomfortableness, there's two things that are coming up for me. First is I don't have any exit. I don't have any escape routes. What do I mean by escape routes? I'm not going to turn to alcohol. I'm not going to turn to drugs. I'm not going to turn to porn. I'm not going to turn to unhealthy food, binge eating. I don't have an escape route. Doing life on life's terms means, fuck, I feel like shit. I'm going to sit here and do what's called self-soothing. So I literally lay down feeling all down and fucking overwhelmed. And it's just doing some breath work, getting back into the body, out of my mind and into my body. And just feeling like, where's this pain coming up? Like, it's not just the thoughts will drive you fucking nuts. It's where am I feeling uncomfortable right now? And I felt it. I feel it right here in my heart, and I feel it in my stomach and my gut. And I just started to tell myself a lot of positive affirmations. And the most important ones is that my value doesn't come from someone else's acceptance of me. And I know that that's not easy. That's easier said than done. So many of us, our whole entire identity is on whether or not someone likes us. We put people on pedestals all the time. And I am someone that literally does have a pattern of self-sacrificing myself in order to keep what? A woman happy. Right there, I was the source of their happiness, and if they're not happy, well, I better tap dance this way or jump that way or contort myself another way to make sure that this lovely soul on this planet is happy, because if they're not, it's all my fault and something's wrong with me, not the other way around, right? Or right or wrong. And so it's good to validate the pain, but I'm telling you, this is the biggest flex right now, man. This is the biggest flex. And it's not just the physical flex. This is like the most powerful spiritual, emotional flex, man, to be like, to have something like hit you really deep and to be like, man, that doesn't feel good, but I'm going to sit here and soothe myself. I'm going to comfort myself. I am going to pat myself. I'm going to breathe through it. I'm going to ground through it. I'm going to acknowledge that it's okay. And I'm also going to declare that this rejection has nothing to do with who I am on this planet and the difference I am making. This rejection is protection. And I actually have like these really esoteric confirmations of this, but it was like when it actually came to be, it still just hurts. It doesn't feel good when you have like a definitive answer as to the future, when you know something is over for sure. And the same happened in 2012 when I broke up and ended my relationship with alcohol in the weirdest of ways. Like, when you have something, and we get easily addicted to people, we get addicted to their energy, their behaviors, and we can even get addicted to the drama that they bring into our lives. And we can like only try and see with the rose-colored glasses all the good things we want, but knowing that to be in this situation, a lot of things had to happen over a pretty extensive period of time. And yet, if you're anything like me, right? These things hurt when I don't feel fully accepted, when I don't feel like, you know, I'm good enough, or I feel like I've reflected after a period of time of separation, and now I realize a lot of things I could have done better. And then when you go to say, "Hey, I think I could have done things better. Are you willing to give this another shot?" And they're like, "Nah, man, I'm moved on. I'm not in love with you anymore." That's very painful. But I do know that rejection is protection. And the next opportunity, it's not going to be at the end of the day, but the next opportunity, if I keep working on myself, if I keep elevating myself, and I've seen this over the course of my healing journey, 12 years, is that the more work I put on myself, right, the higher quality people I'm attracting to me. And it's not all for romance. I have a tremendous amount of soul tribe, platonic people that are coming into my energy, into my life right now. And I don't want to shut down. That's the thing. If you're feeling that rejection, if you're feeling abandoned, if you're feeling betrayed, if you're feeling heartbroken, man, right away, we want to shut fucking down. We want to shut down everything. Don't do it. Resist and overcome shutting down. You have to be intentional about this. Do not shut down. That's not the answer. Some of us will punish ourselves when this stuff happens. A lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people kill themselves because they literally cannot live without a certain person. Like, I know people, I have met women in the last few years that literally they rejected the guy, and some of these stories are really fucked up. But I met this one woman, and holy shit, this guy bent over backwards for her every single way. And she kept telling me this was the love of her life. And eventually she gets to the, the actual story of what happens to this dude is he proposed to her. And in that time, he was just in a really bad energy where he was like bending over backwards, working crazy hours to provide for her. And he started like turning to some drugs and stuff, and maybe wasn't treating her the best because he was probably just fucking miserable. And a lot of men feel this shit where it's like, dude, all I am is a paycheck. What the fuck? Women don't understand that piece of it. And I feel like even in this situation that, you know, for me, I need someone that's going to be there through thick and thin. And I know the amount of sacrifice I'm putting in to build and to do something exceptional. And if someone's going to be like, well, I need more time, then that's cool. That's on them. The right people will stay. Remember that. The right people will stay. But back to this story is that he proposed to her, something she always dreamed about, and she rejected him. After like all of this time, this is the most craziest story. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. And so then like weeks later, he literally had nothing else to live for. Like, she even moved in to like take away the house and kick him out. And it was just like the most cruel thing I could ever think of. And for sure, the guy had given, like, literally sacrificed all his life for her in terms of working, paying everything, just totally like treating her like a queen, putting her on a pedestal. And then he finally asks to like commit to the relationship. With most women have issues saying that most guys aren't like that. And then here's a guy doing it and she rejects him, and he ends up killing himself. He had nothing else to live for because he had built his whole life around her. And that's something I'm gonna, like, again, I said at the beginning of the show, if you made it this far, thank you. I hope that I know this message will reach somebody. And if it reaches somebody then I know it's worth it. It continues to be worth it. Results kill excuses is an obsession of mine. I am obsessed right now. And that's probably a big reason why I'm feeling the pain I'm feeling right now of rejection is because I think in my most recent relationship that expired months ago, we're talking months ago, um, I needed to go into a deep dive season of like all in on this, right? This. I need to go all in on this right here for the greatest good to make a huge impact in this world that, um, yeah, I had to put my energy and my focus towards that, and I couldn't there wasn't balance. I was unable to maintain balance in the relationship, and yet I'm feeling that pain because of that decision, and now that I'm finally getting some traction and, some things are starting to come together, it's like I have more space and more time, and I'm wanting to sort of, like, reconcile and try and say, "Hey, like, I know that we've grown apart, but, like, neither of us have moved on, like, we should look at this," and no, that person's like, "No, I'm hurt. I don't love you no more," and okay, okay. And it's still painful. It's still painful. All these guys that there's different people. Again, because of my story, I have a lot of codependency issues that I'm still working on, man. I'm still working. I'm gonna keep working on it because I know I'm closer. I know that I've grown, right? I know that's the most important piece is I have seen massive improvements over the past really several years. I've been divorced for 5 years and I've been in a few relationships in that time. I've dated a number of people, but relationships times 2, one 18 months and one, I don't know, 7 or 8. And I'm a better person now. Like I'm improving because I'm not just I even told this person, like, if this doesn't work out right now, I'm not just jumping in more relationships. I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that. This is the love right now. This, this is the love. And for some of you, that may sound crazy, but at the end of the day, I heard something today that was super powerful. It says, I think it was something like fall in love with somebody that what you do together will outlive the both of you. And that's incredible because most of us, we just want to like improve the person or, create a family or whatever it is that your goals are. But we're getting into this time right now where it's like the house and the jobs and the fancy cars, it's just not enough. Purpose. To have a shared purpose to make a difference on this planet, that's real fucking heat, man. That is some real sexy shit, if you ask me. To be collabing with a divine masculine, divine feminine, or whatever mix you need, but to be focused on making a positive impact on the planet in the lives of other people, collaboratively, collectively, together, knowing that something that you guys do together will outlive you both. And a lot of people could say, well, that's just your kids. Well, yeah, that's a part. I think that's valid. That's valid. Depends on how you raise your kids. A lot of us feel guilty because we've probably fucked up our kids. Right. And again, like, look at me. I mean, the childhood trauma I'm carrying around is because of my mom. I don't, because of my parents. But I don't sit there. And then it's like, well, it's because of their parents and their parents and their parents and their parents and more parents and those parents. Ancestral generational curses. This is generational trauma. It's not just one and done. I mean, Hurting people hurt themselves first, and then they hurt everyone else. And if you don't heal the pain inside of you, you will pass that pain off to others. And that is why I don't engage in the vices anymore, because if I pull in a if I hit an escape route, the pain doesn't go away. My way of feeling changes, but I wake up tomorrow and the pain is still there. The heartbreak is still there. The uncomfortableness is still there. But what does make it go away is when you self-soothe, when you actually sit there and identify it and realize it, and just acknowledge that it's okay. This is part of being human, and we can sit here and we can embrace this pain and we can feel this pain, and we can be human in this pain. We can mourn this pain. We can have some sorrow in this pain. But here's the thing. We ain't going to stay in the pain. We're not staying in the pain. I will not stay in the pain, but I will not avoid it. I will allow it to run its course. Right. I will mourn the dreams, the visions, the memories, right? But I will not stay in the pain. I must continue. I must move forward. I must keep putting one foot in front of the other and living my life to the fullest. Because at the end of the day, guess what? Ain't nobody gonna come rescue me. And ain't nobody gonna come and rescue you. And as hard as it is to accept, I truly do believe that when you feel rejection, it's time to build some faith and realize that that is a form of protection. It is so you cannot see it in the moment until you get to this place where I'm at. I see it. I know it. This is the first stuff that comes up in my mind. Rejection is protection. I declare right now that this person's rejection is protection. And it's not only protection, it's propelling me towards the better next opportunity. Because guess what? I am worthy of it. I continue to put in the work to heal and grow and expand. And I am doing my best to try and inspire that change in you right here, right now. It needs to start as soon as possible, because you waiting for some certain day of some certain year of some certain circumstances to all line up so you can just feel good enough. Man, oh man, you are going to grow old and tired and miserable waiting for that instead of doing. Because when you do, you're not thinking. When you just start doing it, doing the things you love, doing the things that make you feel alive, doing the things that take care of yourself, doing the things that build you up, putting yourself in new situations to meet new people, to connect and try new things. Guess what? That's the come up. That's the glow up. That's the flex. And so with that being said, I shared my heart with you today. It feels pretty good to get it out, to be vulnerable, but that's what makes Results Kill Excuses different. Is I am not going to run away from tough situations, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. The most successful people on this planet and the most like impoverished people on the planet, we're all connected by our emotions. If that wasn't the case, why do so many successful athletes, celebrities, business people kill themselves? Right? The name that pops up right away is Robin Williams. When I was a kid, that was the funniest motherfucker. Where's he at? Dead. How? He killed himself. And a lot of times they say the funniest ones, the people that are the most funniest externally, are usually the most suffering on the inside. And if that's you, I send you love. I send you light. Comment down below if you can connect with this message. Subscribe, share this message. Please share this message. I want everybody to hear about how rejection is protection and how to do life on life's terms. As I just saw 444 go up on the timer. Maybe that means something to you. Maybe it doesn't. I'll see you back here Next time, you know the drill. Results kill excuses. Transform your sick and tired into optimal and unstoppable. Greg's out.